Hey, what is up? In today's video, we're going to talk about how to work with kids and talking about exercising, weight, nutrition, and health. Coming from somebody who knows people who have had parents want to direct their kids and help them be healthy, but do it in a not good way that led to eating disorders, and also somebody who just works with a lot of people with kids. I have quite a bit of experiences. On top of that, I have 3 daughters myself. And so the last thing I want for them is to find that line, especially with kids nowadays, where it's like if somebody is bigger than somebody else, how to frame nutrition and exercise and health in a way that's not damaging, harmful, but in a way that's useful, that can get our kids being happy and healthy, and they can learn the basics of good nutrition so they don't end up in a position like us, right? Where we didn't have that as kids, and then we had to learn it along the way, or you don't have that knowledge now, and we have maybe a flawed reference to what health and fitness should look like, what's not good, too skinny, all these other good things that people say. So this is going to be a great lesson. I am very, very pumped to talk to you about this today. And if you found this valuable, please like and share so that way we can get to other people. Cool. And make sure you watch to the end. That'd be very helpful. All right. And so the 3 things we're going to cover today. First one, how to gracefully discuss health and weight to kids. And I'm talking specifically females, because like young girls, boys do have this problem as well. But I find anecdotally with women, it might be because I have a bunch of girls, and the people I know that do have the eating disorders are women. But anyway, so kids in general, but proper framing of food and exercise, how to say it in a way that, and use exercise and fitness in a way that is beneficial. Okay. And then how to get kids to want to eat healthier, or the way that we, and me and my wife, do to work on our kids' nutrition as well. Okay. And so warning, okay, 2 things I want you to make sure you do not do is recognize that. 1, do not give kids problems they don't have. What do I mean by that? Is if your kid, if you are worried about your kid having a eating problem, but they are healthy or do not exhibit that problem, don't give it to them. Don't make them aware of a problem or manufacture a problem that they don't have out of love for your kid. As much as that might be good to want to shy people away from some of those things, from kids away from those things, unlike any other sort of problem somebody might face, whether it be drugs, alcohol, pornography, whatever it might be, food is one thing you can't not live without. You can live without porn, drugs, these sort of things. Okay. But what you can't live without is you can't live without food. But hyperfixating on what might potentially someday be a problem, when it might not be, is not going to be useful. And we don't want to give somebody a problem they don't have. Okay. And the next one is, don't justify your problems with nutrition and fitness to your kids. Meaning, I had a rough day, so I'm going to eat ice cream. No, that's a problem that you're running into. That's a solution to a problem your kids don't need, because it doesn't solve your problem. Okay. And I don't mean that to say harsh. I'm just saying that our kids are going to see what we do more than follow what we say. Okay. They're going to do far more of what we do than what we say. Okay. There's an old saying that goes, your kids listen to you through a what's the thing? Your kids watch you through a microscope, but listen to you through a megaphone. I forget what the adage is. Either way, the reality is your kids are going to do a lot more than what they're going to do a lot more of what you do versus do a lot more than what you say. Okay. And why am I sharing this with you? And why is this important? 33% of kids ages 10 to 17 are obese or overweight right now. 33%. Okay. Diabetes, type 2 diabetes, the preventable one, the one that you don't have to get, has doubled in kids since the year 2000. 77% of kids, now this is kids between 17 and 24, because all we have the data on, are not able to pass a military physical fitness test without a waiver. Problem. So not only is it a problem for your kid that's trying to get in the military, now it's a national security problem that kids are not fit right now. Period. Okay. And 25% of kids ages 13 to 17 have a severe anxiety disorder, which compared to the 90s was 7%. So it's almost 4x'd since the 90s. And if you want the sources, I'll give them to you. Okay, but trust me, I'm not pulling these numbers out my ass to make me feel good or to make you feel bad. I'm just saying right now, we have a major problem. Not only from a kid's perspective, in that kids have diabetes now, they're going to have it the rest of their life. Their life expectancy is going to be less. Their anxiety is going to get worse. Their body, their heart, their problems are going to start happening in children with heart attacks and strokes far faster than we want to anticipate it. And if we can prevent it, damn it, we need to prevent it. But we also have to go about it in a way that's smart. That's not overzealous. That's not crazy. That's not belittling. Okay? Because kids are like little puppies. Okay? In fact, anybody under the age of 25 is a little puppy. And what do I mean by that? Okay? When we're talking to somebody under the age of 25, which, by the way, these are people that can vote, which is crazy to me. But that's for another day. Okay? They don't think rationally. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that allows you to think rational thought, is not fully developed until you are the age 25. Meaning, everybody under the age of 25 acts as if they are a puppy. And so we have to talk to them as if they're a puppy, because the prime mover of the primary part of the brain that is functioning is called the id brain. Okay? And the id brain is part of the brain that only needs 4 things. It has needs, wants, desires, and impulse. Notice, none of that is rational thought. None of it. Which is why kids, when they're upset, what do? They have a tantrum. They have no way of being able to express themselves in a way that's rational. So by not getting what they want, what are we going to do? We're going to slam our feet on the ground and cry. When people don't have equality, what are they going to do? They're going to steal from their neighbors instead of working hard. It makes no freaking sense. But to somebody operating in the id brain, makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. And so everything, when you're talking to a child, needs to be framed towards the positive. What I mean by framed is in every sort of problem we face has an equal but opposite positive or negative frame. So as an example, I hate doing dishes. Yes, but don't you love eating off of clean plates? Cool. So you could hate doing the dishes, and it's the dishes being dirty, and you just don't like touching dirty water. But you equally probably hate eating off of dirty dishes. Equal and opposite. So it's the way that you are saying or talking about the thing you're wanting to have somebody do. So like the dish is a good example. Or if a kid that wants to get health, that needs to exercise, the dad can go to the son and go, hey, son, you need to work out so you don't get beat up in high school. No! That's framing it in the negative. For beat up in high school? Why would we want to even put that into the mind, right? Now, again, this is a little bit of an extreme example, but still, how many parents out there have thought, I want my kid to be strong so they don't get beat up in high school? As a kid who was beat up in kindergarten, I'm sure, like, my dad literally put me in karate classes the next week. For real. And so, but the difference is the framing for that was not, Chris, I want you to be in karate classes so you can defend yourself against this bully. It was, isn't it cool to do karate kind of like a ninja? I'm like, yeah, that sounds freaking awesome. But my dad, in his infinite wisdom, was like, hey, we need to get this kid to defend himself, right? And so instead you can go, son, I know you want to be better at basketball. You need to lift weights so you can run faster, so you can get more muscles, so you can push people out of the way. You can back somebody down in the paint. You see how instead of it being, so we frame it of you don't get beat up, is you want to do better. You're already good. Don't you want to be better? Of course you do. You want muscles like me? You want to get big old muscles like your dad? You need to eat more broccoli. You need to eat your vegetables. You need to eat your proteins, right? Or with a woman or the little girl, Chrissy, you're getting a little puffy. We need to lay off the sweets. Or they hear you say that. Never. 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 Never, never, never. Okay? Not good. No. Instead, You can have one piece of candy. You don't want a tummy ache from eating too many sweets, right? So we use with my daughters all the time. You can have one after dinner because we don't get a tummy ache, or you don't want cavities. Okay? I know you said you wanted to be better at ballet leaps, right? Well, the best way to do that is exercise and eat your vegetables. And all these things are true. It's just on the opposite end. You'd be like, oh yeah, you want to get better at ballet leaps? Well, if you lost a couple pounds, you see how it's so terrible. Oh, you mean I'm not good enough? Because that's what the id brain will do. The id brain has no rational thought. So you have to have everything in the positive, or the id brain will irrationally think. It'll think, well, you think I'm not good enough. That's why you don't like me the way I am. Mom, dad wants me to change who I am. Because the id brain is their personalities wrapped up in what they are, who they look like, which is why a lot of people, especially you if you're trying to lose weight, you cannot have your personality, your identity wrapped up in what your body looks like. That's not fair. What happens if you get hit by a bus? What happens if you get bit by a shark? What happens if, like me, I have no disc in my back? And so I was like, I want to do 1,000-pound total. Well, right now, if my identity was, I need to be able to lift 450 pounds or I am not who I am. Well, cool, I can if I wanted to. Or if I do that, I can permanently damage my body forever. But instead, my identity is wrapped up as I'm somebody who's athletic. I exercise. I'm fit. What does fit mean? Whatever fit means right now. The best that I can be. What is that? The best that I can be right now. Do you see how we can wrap it up into something that's more of a characteristic that is moldable with better knowledge versus somebody has to fit into a size 0 no matter what, or you're worthless? See what I'm saying? So much better. Okay. So what do we do when our kids ask about their weight? Okay. This happened to my daughter. In fact, at a dance thing, my wife was telling me at a place we were at before, some parent said, it's interesting that Holly is like the biggest and chunkiest one of all the kids. My daughter. And around other kids. Crazy. And luckily my wife's a badass. And she said, yeah, she's growing. And she's a growing girl. Because that's what they do. They do that. Now all kids are going to be small. And my daughter's the oldest of the group. So yeah, she's going to be bigger. And then amongst other words, you probably wanted to say to this person, right? So again, do not tie it to who they are. That is not them. You are not your body. Your body's a part of you, but that is not who you are. That's just a small part, especially not your personality. Okay. Instead, ask clarifying questions because we might jump to the conclusion of, oh, they're asking about this thing. We don't freaking know. So I feel bigger than other kids. If somebody were to say that, I'm like, okay, bigger in what way? What do you mean? What do you mean bigger? Like my stomach is bigger than XYZ's. Cool. Give them a good truth that does not put blame on them. Because the likelihood it's their fault is almost 0. Okay, and we'll get into why that is in a second. Okay, but flip it on them. Frame it in the positive. Frame it to something that makes sense. Okay, well, honey, you're about to hit a growth spurt. Your body needs room to grow. If you have nothing there to grow, you're not going to grow. That's how you're going to get taller. Because is it not true? When kids are going through puberty, sometimes they get a little chunkier. They have more appetite because they're growing. Yes. Period. And then you need to ask an affirming question. An affirming question is, does that make sense? You're just affirming the statement that you just said and making sure that they acknowledge what you said. Because if you give them a bullshit answer, kids are smart. They're going to know it's bullshit. And so then you have to ask them a affirming question and they have to get a real yes. As in, if you were to say to me, my kid would say this, and I would be like, does that make sense? They're like, yeah, that's not a real yes. You go, well, honey, kids grow between 9 and 10, and then from 12 to 13. You're coming up on 9. you're going to get taller. And so that's what happens. And there's people of all sizes. That's what makes us awesome. And then you could hit something else. Isn't it great that we all look a little bit different? Imagine if we all look the same. You could never tell anybody apart. You'd be walking around going, Dad, where are you? Dad, where are you? I don't see you, because there's all of us look the same. Isn't it amazing that God created us in such a way that we're all different? Yes. Yeah, right? They're like, yeah, that makes sense. That's all you need. You do not need to go into the science. You do not need to talk about nutrition. You do not need to talk about eating sweets. You do not need to talk about them not exercising. You don't need any of that. That's not relevant. That's rational thought. These kids are irrational. You need to give them a reason and a reason-ish, and do not tie it to them. Make it something that makes sense, but not so deep into science. They don't need to know about growth plates and all these things. No. They don't talk about hormones. No. Kids don't need to talk about anything about hormones. They shouldn't even know what they are. Okay? Nothing. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Perfect. But you might be saying to yourself, what if it's my fault? My kids are bigger. The reality is, if your kids are overweight, it is your fault. Period. And I'm not saying that to be rude. I'm just saying it's your fault because you have food, you have supply, and there's a demand, and you gave too much demand, and not enough extra calories burned, not enough doing stuff. I'm not saying this to be rude, but just the fact, right? Now that we're over 25, I can say that. Does it make you a bad parent? Of course not. I was a big kid. I don't think that's what made my mom a bad parent. Nope. But here's what it does mean, is that it's now time for you to walk the walk and lead your family. If you're not doing healthy stuff, you need to be doing it. Kids are going to do what you do more than hear and more than do what you say. So I'm not saying this to brag, because I genuinely believe I'm like an average parent. I don't think I'm great. My wife was like, of all the people I talk to, you're so much better than most people. And I genuinely think I have so many shortcomings. I wish I was better. And maybe that's just me being humble. I honestly don't think so. I think I'm average. Okay. But I work out in front of my kids. We talk about nutrition. We talk about food. I eat healthy stuff. Okay. We eat healthy stuff here. I don't just say it. I do it. I made an example. And wouldn't we all, as adults now, have benefited from a family that led by example with health and fitness? Now, if you don't know what to do, subscribe to my channel. I got a bunch of videos. If you want help with it, where I can help you as a coach, I can get you going. Okay. We help people all the time. This is not new here. Okay. But you need to lead by example, because if you don't, your kids are going to do what you do. And they're going to have the same problems as you. They're going to have the emotional eating problems that you say not to do that they watch you do. They're going to have the same drinking problems. They're going to have the same lack of exercises. They're going to have the same excuses. They're going to have the same weight problems. All of it. All of them. It will be you. You will be their future. And so you have to lead your family. Okay? Because again, they're puppies. They're just little puppies. And they're going to follow puppy. They're going to follow mommy and do whatever they do. Follow daddy. Do whatever they do. And so you need to lead by example. In our house, again, I'm not perfect. I'm literally going to show you pictures of our fridge. Okay. Just so you get an idea. And I'll talk about a little bit of rudimentary stuff that we do. Okay. There's basic, very rudimentary stuff we talk about with food. Okay. So on here, okay, we've got our meats. Okay. We call it protein. Every meal needs to have a protein source. And I should have taken a picture on the side here. I don't want to do it right now, but we have a bunch of different yogurt drinks and string cheese and perfect bars. And yeah, that's pretty much it on the side. So every meal has to have a protein. A protein is either a dairy or a meat source. Every meal. It's got to have something. If it's bacon, great. Sausage, great. Eggs, great. Dairy, great. Totally fine. Okay. We even got some egg whites up here my kids like to eat. Chicken. These things in here are BS waffles. My wife calls them BS waffles. Bacon and sausage waffles. In there, it's waffle mix or pancake mix with sausage and bacon chopped up in it. Now, does that mean, is that the most cleanest or the most leanest protein? Of course not. But our kids don't have our problem. They're not binge eating foods in stress, okay? So they're just eating normal amounts of food, okay? In our freezer, we've got these are little pizzas here. Kids can eat pizza. Pizza's fine. Pizza's good. It's got protein. It's got dairy, which has calcium. It's got carbohydrates for energy. Our kids are very active too. Okay. Anyway, we've got some pancake sausages here. That's something else for breakfast. We got some ice cream sandwiches, some ice cream things, a lot of non-dairy stuff, turkey patties. Our family prefers turkey over red meat. They even like sugar-free syrup over regular syrup. We have Eggos. We've got all this stuff. Okay. But each meal needs to have a protein. Each meal needs to have a fruit or a vegetable. And then you can have some sort of carbohydrate or something. So a typical breakfast, actually, I'll show you. It's going to be a little small. I apologize. I don't know. Actually, I think I can make it bigger. I can't make it bigger. It's just not going to look as sexy without the little timer here. Okay. So this is what my wife made. So on here, meal protein ideas. She's got a big old list of proteins that you can pick from. Okay. Meal ideas. Different meals. Okay. More meal ideas that they can pick from. It's like a little restaurant. Protein shake. We even have protein shakes on here. Kids can have protein shakes. They can have protein shakes. They're fine. It's just protein. Same protein that's in chicken, basically, is going to be here. For basic rudimentary stuff, it's the same thing. Okay. Boom. We even have stuff here like Nutella sandwiches. All right. Now, is that the best thing? Of course not. Of course not. But when you pair it up with a protein and a vegetable, we're fine. Okay. Again, our kids don't have problems. Snack ideas. Do you see any bullshit in here? No, it's all good stuff. Something new. Different things they could try. My daughter now, who was adamant on never eating a burger, eats burgers almost every day. What's wrong with a burger? Nothing. Protein, fat, carbohydrates, nothing. A little bit of cheese on it too, no problem. So I hope that this has been valuable to you as one parent to another. I don't mean to go and step on toes or parent anybody else's kids different. I just know my kids are fit and healthy, and we got no problems. And it's a blessing to have that. And I want that for every kid. Because when you start life on that sort of ground, you're able then to not have the stress of having a body that doesn't work, being tired all the time, diabetes, having to take medications. As a kid, 77% of people that are trying to join the military have to get in with a waiver for the fitness exam. And have you seen it? It's not even that hard. I mean, if you give yourself 12 months, you can do it today. It's not that hard. And we've lowered the standard. If it was standards from 2000s, almost nobody would pass, I guarantee. They just changed it 2019, 2018. And it's a lot easier, So hopefully you found this valuable. If you did, I'd love for you to like and subscribe down below. Or like it and then subscribe. Comment if you have any questions about anything in particular. If you're somebody who wants help in being able to help lead yourself so that you can then lead your family, first link in the description down below is where you can click. We can talk about how I can help you get insane results while being able to eat foods you enjoy. Like I eat this stuff too. Okay, maybe not this little pizza's a little bit too small for me, but eating foods you like in a way that makes sense. That being said, have a great freaking day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.